So this is what we have in front of us today, as we have these three different shiluvim, which makes up the gematria of the word ner, which means candle, which is we are lighting the candles. So when we look at the Rashash, and this is really just an introduction to the concepts of the Rashash, how they reflect the words of the Riyah Kodesh. So the Ri said that if you took the combinations of the name Akia together with the name Havaya, take the name Elokim, put it together with the name Havaya, and then take the name Havaya and put it together with the name Adni. If you add up the gematrias of these numbers, the first gematria is 47. The next gematria is 112, which is also the gematria of Yabuk. And the last one is the gematria of 91, which we see in a lot of different places. And this is just for us to know what the shiluvim mean in terms of the word ner. So all of these different names of God combine to produce the candle flame itself. Now let's go over here and let's look at this little thing that we saw yesterday. And this is another version that the Rav has brought us, and we haven't see it written out here. Yesterday we looked at the first part, which is the part which is the Kesser, that is a flow of light coming from the Kesser. And it represents Atik, that is the deepest level of understanding that we could possibly reach. And it's Atik and his Nuk, because the Atik has a female. There's always a male and a female part. And then Ari Anpin, the Nuk, that corresponds to the flow of light coming through Kesser. Then we go to the next part, and this is the part that I think we're going to look at a little bit today. And this is the Chabad. So in other words, from the very crown, from the top of the head, inside of the head to where the Mokim are located, that's what this next one will be. Now, if you look at every other letter, you'll see that is every other set of letters. Let's just start with the Yud. So we have the Yud. That's Yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei, spelled out. This is the K of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And this is the Vav of Yud Kei Vav Kei. And this is the final Hey of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now, if you look at this and you understand gematrias, which we're working on all the time to be able to see these and recognize them, this is just an introduction to them. You see that the Yud Kei Vav Kei is spelled out. But it is here, in this case, in a shiluv with the name Elokim, but the name Elokim is not spelled out. So the first part is completely full. And then the second part, which makes a gematria very high gematrias, that is to say, it's the gematria that comes out to the number of 133, which is the same word as the word regel, and we had a little drush on that, which indicates to us that there's you light the lights, and you can light any time until the regel is ended in the shuk. In other words, there's nobody on the street anymore that's late at night. So that's a time sequence which is hidden inside of this shiluv. But now we're really looking at over here is the second shiluv, and this is Yud Kei Vav Kei spelled out in a milui, which is a gematria of 63 in this case. So the first one was a Yud Kei Vav Kei of the gematria of 72. And the next one is a Yud Kei Vav Kei with a gematria of 63 plus the 86, which is Elokim. And they make together the gematria of 149. Now, exactly what that does for me, I'm not sure, but that's where we're at. That's a level higher than me. This level represents Chabad, or Chabad, which is the Mochin inside. And then it also, at the same time, is a second level down, which is a level of male and female called Abba Be'ima. And Abba Be'ima has a subcategory, or a secondary parts of, which is called Yisrael, Sava, and Tavuna. That's what you see on the left of that shiluv. Now let me take a break right here and find the place in the Rav himself. See if we can't move on from there. So here we are right over here on number Samach. And number Samach says, let's go to the second bracha. So the first bracha we have in the idea that it's coming from Keser, and it's a milui of Havaya and a milui of Ekia. And it comes to the gematria of Regel. But now we have another name. And this refers to the second bracha. He says, you should have the idea of the Havaya again, which is a milui, but this time it's a milui of Sag. It's not 72, it's 63. He said, Bracha Shniya, in the second bracha, which is Sha'asa Nisim, B'Havaya Shem Havaya the Sag, so we use this Havaya the Sag, and now he shows us what the Havaya the Sag looks like, right? Yud, Vav Daled, K Yud. Instead of Vav Yud Vav, no, this is Vav Aleph Vav, it makes it 9 numbers lower, and then ending off with the same K Yud. So then he says, V'yechaberi Moshem Elokim, and join to it the name of the Elokim, and we call it just in the Pashut, just written out like this. Yechaber Shem Asag, which is 63, Ima Havaya Shem Elokim Pashut, in the simple name Elokim, without a milui. V'lechem gam Havaya the Sag Yekaven Shuhu B'nikut Elokim. But then, if we look over here, let me see if I get back to where we were before. Come on, baby, come on, here we come. That was Lahadlik, and I think this is it. Okay, this drawing doesn't have the Nekudos, but he's telling us that the Nekudos that would be underneath these letters, that is of Elokim, would be the Segel here, and then all the other letters that would go with the name Elokim would be vocalized that way. So let me go back to where we were again. So he says, I go spell it out. We have that idea. It has the same nikudim. And he says that since we are joining together with the name of Havaya, which is spelled out in a milui, so since you're making a shiluf between Elokim and Havaya, when we spell out the word Elokim, the word Havaya, we use the same punctuation as we have with the name Elokim, the Hainu. Chatof, so the first is Chatof, and then it comes Segel. It's a Chatof Segel, it's a short one, like that. And then the next one is the Cholim, on the Elokim would be the low part. And then it was a Hirik, is the E, and then it's spelled like this. So this is how you would spell it. Yud, with a Chatof Segel, and then he spells out the name. Then K, which has, over the K, it has a Cholim, and then he spells out the name. The Vav begins with a Hirik, and then he spells out the name. And then you have the Hey with the Yud, with a Hirik underneath it. That's how we do it. So we change it again. And let's go back to our drawing back here again. One more page. And now we have the last part. And this part refers to the mochin that are coming down to the Zayin Tachtoinus of Zair Anpin, which are the Chesed Gevurah Tiferes, and that's a Chod Yisod and Malchus. And now you see that the name that is Havaya is Yud K Vav K, like that. This is what we call the Milui of Alofim, and it comes a gematria of 45, and it's paired with the name Adni, right? But it's spelled out in a simple form. Now let's go back to the Rav. The Rav has been helping us out a little bit, and along with the Tiv, try to understand what's playing here. So as we finish up, so he says, you Yechaber imo shem Adni, join together with the name Adni, but Bircha Shehechiyanu, and that's the Bircha, the last bracha that we make in Shehechiyanu. So what he's trying to say is that you're bringing mochim from the top, from the Keser, into the Chabad, which is the head, and into the body of Zair Anpin, and you're trying to move. What we're trying to do here is bring that light of Chanukah, which is this word Ner, The word ner could be broken down as part of what we're doing here. So he said, "Bebrachas shechayanu yechaber im ravaya de ma shem adni." So you put together with ma and adni together. That's 45 and 65. So therefore we see that the kavana is different from every havaya. So it's havaya ekya, havaya alokim, havaya adni, but the way they're spelled out and they're put together and the gematrias are going to be different. Hainu, the bracha rishona, with the first bracha, you cover havaya kasa. That would be havaya, that would be av kasa. That's what we call av kasa. So it would be the male aspect, which is going to be an av, and the female aspect, which is going to be a kasa. Then you could do a bracha shniya. Then you could do sag, that's going to be from the male side, yud ke vav ke, and elokim, which is lashon din, which is going to be on the left side. Then the bracha shlishes in the third bracha, yikavein ma and adni. This is 45 and 65. Ubisharcha yamim, and then all the rest of the days, of course, we only say the shechiyan the first day. Shein omrim shechiyanu. Ayin B'Siddur of Rashash, and B'Shaf brings a pshat over there. Shemaybe the kavan gam shem ma, so they should also do the shem ma along with va'adni bracha shniya. So she would add that into the second bracha as well. So because we only have 3 brachas on the first day, but the third bracha will be added into the second day. That is the kavana for these brachas. And now we see the illustration in the Rashash.